America, we got to get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us. Hey, this is the kind of show that may not please anybody. So let me put this out there at the outset. Former Congressman Joe Walsh here. Thank you for tuning in. Colleen, good to see you. But I want to tell everybody at the outset, I've got 3 or 4 things that I have to say. You may find them boring. You may not find them relevant, and or they may piss you off. I want to say that at the outset. So if you feel like you need to leave, you don't want to hear it, God bless and have a wonderful Wednesday. Three topics I want to hit today. A defiant confession, a dishonest, divisive speech, and man, a weak, feeble opposition party. Last night, Trump's address to a joint session of Congress. Let me begin with a confession. I don't know how to start this. Let me begin like this. I will never, ever, ever move past January 6th. Never going to do it. If that means I can never get elected again, I can never have a TV show, I can never go on TV, I can never go on radio, I have to stop this podcast, I can no longer tweet, I can no longer do anything. If that's what it means, because I cannot and will not ever move beyond and stop talking about January 6th, then so be it. I don't give a fuck. I'll go live in the middle of nowhere with my 10 to 20 dogs and be as happy as a clam. I will not ever stop talking about January 6th. Now, I was reminded of January 6th last night. Everybody watching Trump in that chamber should have been reminded of January 6th last night. And for those of you who have forgotten January 6th, let me just put it out there right now. For the first time in American history, I can't move beyond this. It's too big of a deal. For the first time in American history, in 2020, a candidate for president lost an election and refused to accept the result. A candidate for president lost an election and told the American people to fuck off. First time in American history that had ever happened. 2020, when Trump lost to Biden. And then that guy who lost the 2020 election did everything he could, abused the powers of his office, committed crimes, trying to overthrow an American election. That happened. That guy who lost an election incited and set a mob on the United States Capitol on January 6th to violently overthrow an American election. That happened. I can't move beyond that. I can never and will never stop talking about this. You see, there's such a big part of me that still can't believe and can't accept the fact. Forget about January 6th. Forget about Trump trying to overthrow the election. There's a big part of me that cannot accept the fact that the American people reelected someone who just refused to accept the result of an election. Like Trump losing in 2020 and then Donald Trump never conceding, never accepting the result, never acknowledging that he lost. Trump losing in 2020, and then for the first and only time in American history, looking at the American people and saying, fuck you. I don't accept the will of the people. I don't accept this loss. Like, there's still such a big part of me that can't believe that act alone didn't banish Trump to Siberia, never to be heard from again, let alone remaining the leader of the Republican Party, let alone running for president again, and let alone the American people putting him back in power. There's still a big part of me that can't accept that. We'll never accept that. There's still such a big part of me, and I'm all about, speaking with anyone and everyone, having respectful conversations with anyone and everyone, and I do, listening to anyone and everyone. I don't believe there's anything that pisses me off more politically than this. That a candidate for president can refuse to accept the will of the people, refuse to accept a basic election loss, lie about the election, and then get reelected again. I will always be so disappointed and pissed off that the American people, all of the American people like me, like that wasn't a red line, right? Forget about where you stand on the border. Forget about where you stand on healthcare. You want to raise taxes, cut taxes. You want to do whatever. You want to give more aid to Ukraine or not. I get that. Those are all policy discussions, policy issues. But the fact that you lose a fucking election and you refuse to accept the result, you give them your middle finger to the American people. The fact that that is not a red line for all of us. All of us, is so damn disappointing. That should be a red line. You run, the American people speak, the American people have their day. You run, you work hard, you lost as a candidate. You are obligated in this country to say, I accept that loss. The American people spoke. That should be like the bare minimum to ever be a candidate again. And the fact that Donald Trump is the only guy in American history who ran for president and refused to do that bare minimum, he never, ever, ever, free country, he can run again. No American ever, ever, ever should have voted for him again, because that's got to be a red line. Why am I beating this? Why am I beating this? A confession, my confession. I can't move beyond this. I will never move beyond this. I will put January 6th in front of the American people every week for as long as I'm still alive and I'm speaking publicly. And if you don't like it tough, sorry. But man, we were vividly reminded of January 6th last night. Trump was in that House chamber. For the first time since January 6th, 4 years and 2 months ago, there was a violent attempt to overthrow an American election in that very chamber 4 years and 2 months ago. And last night, there was Donald Trump for the very first time since January 6th. Trump was in that very chamber, in that very Capitol. And as he was there last night, giving his speech, and as he was there last night, and everybody's supposed to applaud and give him all the respect that's due to him and all the rest, I was having flashbacks. Keith, if you've got one, give it to me. I was having flashbacks to January 6th. I was having flashbacks of that chamber, that image, that picture. Trump speaking last night, and we're all supposed to pay attention and applaud and give him some measure of respect. And all I'm thinking was 4 years and 2 months ago, that's what that chamber looked like. That's what that room looked like right there. Capitol Hill police officers trying to stop a violent mob from entering that chamber to, I don't know, hang Mike Pence, hang Nancy Pelosi, stop the certification of the 2020 election. And the man who sent that mob, keep that up, Keith. See that image? Images like that. It's all I could think about. It's all I could see last night. It's the first time Trump was in that chamber 4 years and 2 months ago. That's what that chamber looked like. And all the members of Congress, right? Especially all those Republicans, right? They were on their knees. They were hiding. They were cowering from the violent mob. They were running for their lives. They were scrambling to get out of that chamber. And the cops, the Capitol Hill cops, doing their damnedest to protect the people's house, your house and my house. And that image right there, same room, that image right there, broken glass, broken everything, violence, cops at gunpoint, trying to prevent a violent mob from entering that chamber and violently overthrowing an American election. Same room that Trump was in for the first time last night. Same room. And we're supposed to give him some modicum of respect. Supposed to pay attention to what he's saying last night. Polite applause. America shouldn't move beyond that image. America shouldn't move beyond that image. I never will. Call it PTSD, call whatever you want to call it, man. I was having real flashbacks. And yeah, I worked in that Capitol. And yeah, I sat in that chamber every darn day for a couple of years. That is the people's house. Again, I was a member of Congress. I was a member of the House. That's not my house. That's our house. And just to think that the man solely, almost, Keith, keep it up. The man solely responsible for that image right there. The man solely responsible for the rioter who was shot and killed, justifiably by the Capitol Hill police. Donald Trump is solely responsible for the violence that happened 4 years and 2 months ago in that very chamber. And there he was, like revisiting the scene of the crime last night. The man who lit the fire, the man who ignited it all. I couldn't, listening to him last night, I couldn't move beyond that image. And a lot more images where that came from. Saw another image last night that I pulled up of Republican and Democratic members of Congress hiding up in the gallery under seats, hiding for their lives. And there were these Republicans 4 years and 2 months later last night, roaring for the man who instigated, who incited January 6th. Should be a red line for everybody. Donald Trump never, ever should have run again, been allowed to run again, won a primary, got elected again. Never, ever. I'm not going to move beyond it. That's got to be a red line for America. What happened on January 6th has got to be a red line for all of us. And if it bothers you that you need to think about this, that I bring this up, well, tough. Big fucking deal. Deal with it. It's only happened once. And if you don't make it a red line, if you don't make sure it matters, it will happen again. But my confession, I'm not moving beyond it. The speech, Trump's speech last night. Look, Trump did Trump, and he did it really well. What did Trump do? He lied. He does that really well. And he spread fear and division. He did that really well. He spoke to half the country. He only spoke to his supporters, his voters, his people. Typically not what you do in a State of the Union. This was not a State of the Union, but it served as a State of the Union. His first speech upon getting reelected in front of a joint session of Congress. Even Fox News, even folks on Fox News said, we've never seen such a partisan State of the Union speech. But most importantly, again, Trump did what he did, what he always does, and he did it well. And he lied over and over and over. I actually said that somewhere before the speech. Like what's the point of listening to Donald Trump speak? I mean that. What's the point? He lies virtually every time he opens his mouth. So what's the point of listening to that speech last night? Unless you had to do it for work, school, or something, why would you listen to that speech last night? If you know he's going to lie virtually every time he opens his mouth. And he did. I mean, my God, I jotted down, I think, just 17 or 18 lies that Trump uttered last night. Many of them we've heard before. He doesn't care. He lies to you because he knows you don't care. Isn't that the greatest? Trump supporters. Trump lies and he repeats his lies and he doesn't care because Trump supporters, you've trained him. You've told him you don't care. Donald Trump again last night said he inherited an economic catastrophe. That's a lie. He inherited a great economy. Stock market way up, unemployment way down, employment participation way up, inflation way down, 2.8% to be exact. Donald Trump inherited by far the best post-COVID economic recovery economy in the industrialized world. Trump lied about that. Trump said Doge has saved hundreds of billion dollars in fraud. That's a lie. And if it's not a lie, all Doge would have to do is produce evidence. And they haven't produced any evidence of any millions or billions of dollars in fraud that's been cut. Trump said, lied. Here's another lie. We will take in trillions and trillions in tariffs. Trump said that again last night. MAGA, that's a lie. We pay for the tariffs, Trump's tariffs. Those are taxes on us. China doesn't pay for them. Mexico doesn't pay for them. Canada doesn't pay for them. We do. We're not taking in trillions and trillions from anybody. America, you're going to pay trillions and trillions in taxes because of Trump's tariffs. Trump, he lies big and small. Trump said that the small business optimism index saw its largest 1 month gain in January, 41%. That's a lie. The small business optimism index went down in January. Trump said last night that he terminated the Green New Deal. Huh? He didn't terminate the Green New Deal. There is no Green New Deal. The Green New Deal wasn't a piece of legislation. It wasn't anything. It was like an idea. There wasn't anything to terminate. It's like, again, a lie. Like Trump said, there was this thing called the Green New Deal and I terminated it. He didn't terminate anything. Again, he put out the lie that countries are opening up their mental insane asylums and releasing all their people and sending them up to America. Trump's been saying this for 4 or 5 years. It's a lie, and he's never produced any evidence to support it. Donald Trump lied and said 21 million people came into this country illegally during the Biden administration. That's a lie. Best estimates are that 9 million did. That's a lie. By the way, Donald Trump last night lied and said Canada doesn't allow any U.S. banks in their country. That's a lie. There are 12 or 13 American banks in Canada. Trump lied and said there are 1.3 million people between the ages of 150 and 159 years old who are still getting Social Security payments. That's a lie. There aren't. Donald Trump lied again last night about Ukraine aid. Trump lied and said, it's about the 100th time he's said this, that the United States has given $350 billion in aid to Ukraine. That's a lie. We've given about $183 billion. And Trump lied again, said we've given more than Europe. That's a lie. All European countries together have given $204 billion in aid to Ukraine. Europe has given more to Ukraine than America has. Trump lied about that again last night. Again, always a whopper and a doozy from Trump. You know, Trump wants the Panama Canal back. He keeps lying. And Trump last night said 38,000 Americans died building the Panama Canal. That's a lie. 5,600 people died building the Panama Canal, and most of them were not Americans. Donald Trump lied last night and said that automobile plants are opening up, quote, all over the place in America. That's a lie. They aren't. I could go on and on. Trump said that the government is spending $8 million to make mice transgender. That's just a lie. Not. You get my point. It's what Trump does, and he doesn't care. And we're at a point in our history where way too many Americans don't care, don't mind being lied to. MAGA, MAGA. You loved what he said last night. MAGA, MAGA. Fine. But just please acknowledge you don't mind being lied to. And I'll just throw this out there again. As an American citizen, as a free citizen in this democracy, man, it's your fucking job to stay informed. It's your fucking job not to let politicians lie to you, not to accept and believe lies, not to be like open and willing to accept disinformation. You've got to stay informed as an American citizen. We're clearly not doing our jobs as Americans. Last thing on the speech, though. It was a real divisive partisan speech. And this is important. Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about bringing this country together. He spoke last night to only his supporters. He went off. All he really talked about was like woke, no more woke in America, DEI, no more DEI in America, transgenders, no more transgenders in America, immigrants, brown and black, they suck, we're keeping them out of America. That's pretty much all Trump talked about. Nothing, by the way, on the price of eggs, nothing, by the way, on healthcare, nothing, by the way, on the economy. No, Trump, it was like Donald Trump last night had a big barrel of red meat. His culture wore red meat, and Trump kept reaching into that barrel and throwing a bunch of red meat out there to his people, to his voters that he knew they'd eat this shit up. And they did. Trump does it really well. Trump wants you to think that the whole country is so fucking woke, and there are hundreds of thousands of transgender women right now competing in college athletics against biological women. That's what Trump wants you to believe. Hundreds and thousands of them out there. And if you listened to him last night, you'd think there were, instead of like 9 or 10 nationwide. But for us, this is dangerous because, again, this in essence was a State of the Union. Presidents typically speak to the whole country. Presidents typically talk about what they're going to do with and for the whole country. Presidents typically try to, especially, right, they've just won an election, try to bring the country together. I think everybody would agree with me that we're super divided right now. Really importantly, Trump made no fucking effort to do that. None. It's like he looked this way and he simply spoke to half the country. And again, if you're a Trump supporter, a voter, a follower, you may fucking love this. But I think this is a dangerous road to go down. Trump set a really bad, dangerous, divisive precedent last night. I don't want the next Democratic president, whoever that is, to get up and give a State of the Union and only speak to his or her voters, and only try to rally his or her voters, and only throw red meat to his or her voters. Color me crazy and naive. I still have designs and hopes and dreams that this country can find a way to heal, come together. Again, no matter your politics, I think you'd all agree with me, we're super divided right now. Donald Trump made crystal clear last night, and he made this clear during the campaign. And I've said this before, MAGA, Trump did not create the divide in America. Donald Trump is the horrible, terrible, ugly consequence of how divided we are. But make no mistake, Trump has no interest, zero, in doing anything about that divide. In fact, he wants to make it worse. He wants this country to be more divisive because he believes, as all good demagogues do, that the divide only helps him. The more divided we are, the more afraid we are, the angrier we are, the better for him, the better for MAGA, which is why he spews all the fear about immigrants, migrants, transgenders, Black and brown Americans, the LGBTQ community. Donald Trump's job is to make you fucking fear these people. That's what he appeals to. That's really bad. It's a bad thing to do. It's an ugly thing to do. It's a bigoted thing to do. Final thought on last night. The weak, feeble opposition party. Democrats. No! Democrats. Now I knew you wouldn't do it. I kept saying for the last few days, don't even go to the speech. Do not go to the address. Do not go. Just stay away. Trump, this is not normal. Trump is not normal. He's standing with Putin. He and Elon Musk are taking a wrecking ball to our Constitution every day. Make a statement, Democrats. Have some balls, Democrats. And all of you just stay away. And by the way, that'll hurt Trump because all Trump wants is attention, man. Empty seats, you not there, that would kill him. But Democrats didn't do that. Some stayed away. But most Democrats showed up and they just engaged in, I think, silly, stupid stuff that just made them look weak and small. Keith, I don't know if we got a picture of any of this. The Democrats, there they are, like they were sitting in their seats and it was like they were playing bingo. They kept putting up these circular little signs, Musk steals, save Medicaid, protect veterans. It was like they were all, they'd sit there and they'd put up these various signs. They'd yell, they'd shout. One Democrat got kicked out, escorted out by Capitol Hill police. A few of them at a time just up and left. They were wearing shirts that said resist. It was all just all over the map and it looked small. Didn't meet the moment. Look at that. Excuse me. It didn't meet the moment. And I knew this would happen because you can't compete in that chamber. Trump's standing way up here behind the platform. He's the president. He's given the speech to all of you. I've been there. I've been down there. You're sitting down in those little seats. You're down there, all of you, all 535 of you. You can't compete with a president's platform. So anything you do, holding placards, ordering pizza, yelling and shouting at him, whatever you're doing, playing whatever games you're playing, you're going to look small. And Democrats looked small. Democrats looked small. They didn't rise to or meet this moment. They couldn't meet the moment in the chamber. The only way to meet the moment was to not attend and then go back home and get in front of your constituents, right? That would have been a great thing to do, right? Have town halls with your constituents and ask them what they think about Musk, Trump, Ukraine, the Constitution, and all of that, instead of sitting in that chamber listening to Trump spew lies and bullshit about all of this. Democrats, I'm going to say it again. I want you to think this and believe this in your bones because this is what's happening. We have a president who every single day is attacking the rule of law, the Constitution, the world order, decency, tolerance, and the truth. We have someone in the White House who is the very thing our founding fathers feared. He's acting like the king and the tyrant our very founding fathers feared. And because of that, and his wealthy partner, Elon Musk, not elected to anything, our country's house right now is burning down. Democrats, you got to believe that. You got to feel that in your bones. You got to speak to that. You've got to oppose that. These are not normal times, Democrats. Do not engage in normal politics. The normal thing to do last night was to go to the speech and just sit there and look stupid or do silly little things like wave shit or walk out. That's normal political shit. These are not normal times. It calls for unprecedented things. Don't show up. Go back home. Hold a town hall in your district. Get in front of a camera every single day and speak to what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing. Be an opposition party. He's tearing down the very fabric of this country. He is. And without an opposition party, he'll be able to. There is no functioning Congress right now. Democrats, Republicans have laid down, right? They run Congress. They've laid down. Democrats, step outside of your job. Step outside of your political congressional uniforms. Be something different. Be righteously angry Americans. Be real people, Democrats. And be righteously angry. These are not normal times. These are times that call for unprecedented measures, Democrats. Be up to it. What can we do, the rest of us? March 4th. No. I don't know what the next day is. Two things. Get involved locally. Find out what's going on locally in your community. There are protests happening in every week in virtually every state in this country. Find them. Talk to friends you have locally. Get involved with people you know locally. Protest, march, resist, all of us. Always go to this website, oneflaginitiative.org. oneflaginitiative.org. Go there. We'll keep you updated on all the protests and the rallies and the stuff going on around the country. Don't lose heart, American people. Do not lose heart. I know we don't have an opposition party right now. I know Democrats aren't doing what they need to do. I know it seems like everything's lost. Don't believe that. Everything is not lost. By the way, remember, Republicans are afraid to go home and hold town halls in their districts. Demand that they do. And by the way, Democrats, that's something you can do. How about you go into Republican districts, Democrats, and hold town halls? How about you do that? If you want to shoot me an email, The Social Contract with Joe Walsh, all one word, The Social Contract with Joe Walsh @gmail.com. Shoot me an email. Hang tough. Have a good day. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been The Social Contract.